welcome back to the Popcorn Perspective. It's your host Jay and AK. So today is going to be a little bit of a different one, right? We're going to have more of a rewrite of season two, Rings of Power, because I think AK and I both liked the season, but we thought there were a lot of shortcomings.
Yeah, no. We thought overall season two was a loads better. Like it was far better than season one. But like you said, there was just a lot of issues throughout the episodes that could have just been tweaked slightly that I think could have made this season overall far better than it was.
Yeah, so in the name of that, we're not going to change too much. We're going to try and get as close to the end as we got. So everyone is in the same spot for season three, but
Hmm.
these are just minor enhancements that we feel some of these characters deserve. And I think we just start from episode one, right? Like that
Yeah,
prologue was awesome. So I think keep that.
yeah, and then we can. I do want to still have that Eldon and Gladriel push and pull between the rings, so I'm definitely okay with having them travel or like to have a chase. But instead of them having a chase, have it more like a travel, like they're just talking and communicating, and we can
Hmm.
see Eldon getting increasingly frustrated with the rings and saying we shouldn't trust him. Having like we want to see them debate it out, and each time they have a debate, we can have them moving location slowly, so we can see them go to the bridge that we're going to see eventually get destroyed, all the way up to Linden when they talk to the High King, and then and then she reveals Sauron, pissing off Eldon even further. That they talked this whole way, she never mentioned Sauron.
Yeah, and not only that, I think this also helps with the scale, right? Because
Yes,
we don't actually understand where things are or how far apart they are, but at least if they have this montage, we're getting to see a beautiful landscape. We're getting to, like, Lord of the
yeah,
Rings, oh my god, landscape was just out of this world, right? So we get to reminisce, because I know they like pointing back to Lord of the Rings so much. So this would be a good little homage, even just a nice little montage of them walking through it, going through some of the rivers, the bridge that apparently is destroyed later
destroyed in
on.
like episode 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
So we have
think also
references
with
basically.
yeah, what this will do is, as you were saying, scale is. We were talking about that in our review videos throughout the season. A lot of characters jump from location to location without any sense of how far or distance each location are to each other. So this would definitely help out for when the army eventually comes to save them in episode 8. This would make sense on why it took them this many episodes to travel.
Yeah, exactly. And
And
I,
then
I think that's a
where
very good addition.
100%. And then what else would you change in episode 1?
So yeah, we get the stranger Nuri and Poppy. So honestly, if you take out Poppy from this entire story for season two, it doesn't change anything. So I think we would probably go ahead and remove Poppy, and
Yeah.
instead of the stranger and Nuri realizing they're being tracked, we'll have the Eastlanders track them a little further, a little bit more cautiously, and we see Gandalf and Nuri meeting the stewards. And initially, we can have like
Yes.
this whole thing. It's like the stewards think he's the dark wizard or whatever, but then he actually ends up helping them or protecting them from something, whatever. We can make up some random worm
Yeah.
thingy.
Peril or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have Gandalf towards the end of this leave Nori there, saying that she will be safe here because of the perils that this area, the East, holds. He might not be able to protect her, and he needs to do this on his own. Kind of like that. So it makes sense when he comes back. He knows where they are.
Yeah, because we don't want to ruin the whole story arc from Nuri and Gandalf from last season, where they want to travel together because they're friends who wants to help each other out. We
Yeah.
want to leave it here where he's like, "Hey, I know what's going to happen next. I just saw the future. Gotta glance my dreams, like we
Hmm.
saw from the show. I'm gonna like. How about you stay here with the story just for a little bit? I'll come back once it's clear."
Yeah. It's
And
like
that
a
way,
journey I need to do by myself, right?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't kill. I feel like otherwise it would kind of kill the whole Nori storyline, and I kind of want this to kill it. I want this to be the end of her
Yeah, yeah,
storyline
yeah, yeah.
for
It
the rest of the
feels that
show.
way.
Yeah, like
Even the
we're
way they
leaving
end
you
the season, it
back.
feels that way.
Yeah, So this is fine just to leave her in the back here, and then like maybe in episode 7 or episode 8 we can bring her back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So then I think what we should do next would probably have the whole Halbrand stuff. I think we keep all that the same. I
Hmm.
think we keep the whole Eldron and Ceridion all the same.
Yes.
The light coming back to the elves, we can keep all
Lyndon,
that the
yes.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think we can move on to episode 2.
perfect.
Okay.
Episode 2 that was where we get the events on Mount Doom impacting Khazad-dûm, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And Darkness Falls Khazad-dûm. So yeah, I think that part is good. We should definitely keep that, but maybe have it more apparent. Have a flashback scene of season 1, how it ends, where that explosion happens and we see the smoke coming, and then we could kind of see it more pan out and travel across to Khazad-dûm and showing the impact of what this means.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant change. Just because, like, I'll be honest, I had no idea that was the earthquake from Mount Doom causing the destruction of Casa Doom. I thought it was a random occurrence. I didn't put two together until I watched the review, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Then, maybe I'm just that dumb and I need more reference points. But no, I like that change.
Yeah, I think showing the audience is always better than kind of having us
Up for
infer what you're trying
interpretation.
to say. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I like that. And I think the whole Halbrand and Adar discussion, we can keep all of the same. We're Halbrand leaving and
Mm.
all that fun stuff. Now, I do think, going off of the whole Cause of Doom, though, we definitely should bring in Durant's brother early on. Because we do know the
The
way to
throwaway
end
brother
season.
that every family has.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. So we do know in episode 8 for the show, Durant's brother is apparently garnering favors to fight his brother, fight Durin the Fourth in his political landscape for the throne. So
Hmm.
bring his brother up early. That way we can develop his character throughout the season. We don't have to follow him every episode. We can only have
Hmm.
like 2, 3 episodes sprinkled in. But
Yeah,
that way, once that political landscape divide happens in season 3, it feels more earned. It feels more understood versus just throwing it
totally.
out there.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now it's like I don't even know what the brother stands for. Maybe he wants
Yeah,
unions. If he wants unions, I mean, come on, man. That's a good
yeah.
argument. I need to know this.
Maybe he's giving a free minecart to all the dwarves. Like I don't know. I don't know. His tax fault now.
No, but exactly. It's if we get more interaction with his brother, and even if they make him evil, it's like he's always trying to manipulate the father, and it's like, oh, we need to take everything the earth has to give. Like, I'm
Yeah,
fine with that as long as you're giving us the brother instead of just
because that
randomly
way, once
mentioning him by
he gets
one line.
introduced in season 3, vying for the throne, we know why he wants the throne. We know what his mindset for the throne will be. So I think what we should do is the king
Yeah,
is now speaking to Durin's unnamed brother. We'll just call him
Durin the fifth
Bruin.
of.
Yeah, we call him Durin the Fifth. We call him the Fifth. We
So
don't know his
dumb.
name. Yeah. So whatever. So we can have like the king speaking to the fifth, the younger brother, and basically vying for him to be the next heir because he threw Durin the Fourth out last season.
Oh yeah, he did. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so we can
yes.
have him basically using the brother as like a you're going to be the next heir now that your older brother disgraced the throne or disgraced me, and we can see how this is making conflict within Durin the Fourth. And when he talks with Disa, he said, "My brother is taking what's rightfully mine. My brother is taking all my my destiny or my whatever." And we can see how this is really impacting him.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I personally would want that angle for Durin. I kind of like
Well,
him as a pure character.
it's not like it's a greed thing. It's we can say like I know who my brother is. My brother will lead the dwarves to ruin or to war. He's like my brother's always had a thirst for blood or something along those lines. That way he's like I'm not doing this for a selfish reason. My dad
Hmm.
knows my brother is a horrible person. He's doing this to get at me basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like he wants me to bow down. My dad wants me to just give in, but I can't give in because I truly sorry, there's a fly in my room. But we could have him where he truly believes that working with the elves was the right decision early
Yeah,
on in season one, basically referring to what happened.
yeah.
And
No,
it
I
doesn't have
can
to be
see
like a
that.
long scene. It could be like a 2 to 3 minute scene that just spans out these characters, like fleshes them out slightly.
Yeah.
And
No,
then, do you
I
have
actually
any other
really like that.
changes? Yeah, any other changes you would make in season two?
Episode two.
Oh, episode two. Yes, yes,
I guess we would probably get Sauron going to Eregion, correct?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, keep that.
We can keep the elves, getting the rings, putting the rings on, all three of them claiming it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know you were talking about you want to expand a little bit on the Númenorian storyline, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. We also get the ship to Numenor getting there and them finding out the king is dead. We also get that's then I guess when we should probably start introducing more people like Lord Balzagar, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say he's a lord from the other side where Elendil's son is or something like that.
No, I mean, yeah, it makes sense if that's where his son is located. Maybe have
Hmm.
like a familiarity between Belzegar and Elendil, and just
Yeah.
him kind of like saying your son is doing great, staying at my kingdom or my castle or something,
Yeah.
and make it where like Belzegar is using that as a threat, like a false threat that I own your son basically right now.
But they don't have to be on bad terms just yet, right? They
No, it
could
doesn't
be
have
on
to
good
be, but it could
terms.
be implied. It still could be implied,
Okay.
like just keep faith, like stay your place, and everything will be fine, right?
Okay.
Because
Because I
I
think
kind
the
of
angle
want this
I'm
to
going
be
for is for Farazan and his group to be more manipulative.
okay
So
and
everything
not
they're doing,
forthright
yeah,
bad.
it's like if we can get Elendil on our side, all the faithful will follow us, basically. So like
Okay,
they want to use him as a key because they think he's probably the weakest person to get
no, that
because
makes
his son
sense. No,
just
I like that.
died.
Then
Yeah,
yeah.
his son just died. He went to a war he didn't really want to go to war,
So we
and
can
it's just
have
he has so many losses right
Lord
now.
Belzegar having lunch with Elendil,
Something
and
like
he's
that.
like, "I'm
Yeah.
sorry about the death of your son.
Yes.
I've been talking to Farazan, and we would love to have your voice in court because we don't approve of the Queen's warmongering." And we can show that she's already trying to invite him into the inner
Mm,
circle. But in
yes.
that way, we can have Lindale put his foot down and say, no, the Queen, what the Queen did was correct, and we should continue following the Queen. What you were saying, you could be imprisoned for saying that.
Yes. This
Basically,
could be treasonous.
treason. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That way we can actually build who Belzegar is, and we can see Belzegar as the power hungry guy who's going to
Yeah.
manipulate and worm his way through.
Yes.
And the same as Farazan. I agree. I think we need to build on who both of these characters are because we know the downfall of Numenor is coming soon, and I want it to be impactful. I don't want us to be like, I don't give a shit about these characters.
Yeah. Exactly. And well, I guess we can also end it with Celebrimbor finally talking to Halbrand.
Yes, yeah, we can
Yeah.
end that the same. I
Yeah.
don't think we want to change
Yeah.
much on that. Yeah.
Season two is going to be a big episode.
Yeah, episode two. Yeah, that's gonna be. We can make episode two like the hour and 20 minute episode. Why not? Budget does not
um,
matter. An hour fanfics.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't matter. And these are conversations. What budget are you actually blowing through right now?
Yeah, like you're in a room in a setting
Yeah,
just
you're
discussing.
building. That's the thing. It's like,
Like,
why don't we spend time building character with with proper dialogue, right?
if you look at Game of Thrones season one and season two had very little budget. I'm not going to spit a number out and falsely claim a number, but
Two
it's
dollars. That's what
dramatic.
they had.
Yeah,
$2.
$2 an episode now, but it is drastically less than what Rings of Power had because apparently season eight, Game of Thrones was like the most expensive season of any TV show,
Jeez.
and then Rings of Power now is that new threshold. So I mean,
Okay.
season one was nowhere near what season eight of Game of Thrones was, or what Rings of Power is,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was a lot of just contained discussions. There was no real grand battle until Blackwater in episode eight, nine, whatever.
Hmm.
But like most of it was just all talking, and they had very little money for the seasons, and it was so compelling. And this show has so much money, yet the discussions go nowhere.
Inflation?
I don't know, but I'm with you on that. We can just have a little more like just one-on-one discussions
Yeah,
during the
narrative
lunch.
driven discussions. Exactly.
Yeah, to pull the plot, like to develop these characters, it would be so much smarter.
Yeah. And let's go to episode 3 with the best character. Best written, bar none. Barrack, the horse.
And he has the best dialogue.
But yeah,
What was that? What was that sound
Barrack,
effect?
Barrack has such an awesome scene killing like two, three orcs or
Yeah,
whatever, saving Isildur. Honestly, the MVP on that episode
100%.
and
I love
season.
that man.
So
Best
yeah, we can
horse
definitely
one
keep
can
that the
have.
same.
Yeah.
But hopefully you don't have any changes though, right? For the beginning?
No, no, keep all that the same. I
Yeah.
think episode 3, we should build upon what we did in episode 2, the groundworks of
Okay.
Númenor. And I
Yeah.
think episode 3 should be more Númenorian focused, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like because at this time there shouldn't necessarily be such a big divide, but we could start laying the groundworks. So Farazan still trying to support his cousin,
Muriel.
but their visions are just so vastly different where it's just this is the point where it's like this just isn't going to work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like we can have like maybe a scene where the two of them are discussing or like debating their mindset, and he's so anti-war, or like he did not agree with that war in Middle Earth, where he's like,
Hmm.
"You let people to death and slaughter. We warned you about this last, basically stuff that happened last season, but you went ahead with it
But
anyways." And
Farazan was kind of pro-war because he wanted to set up a base in Middle Earth, right?
well, he started both ways. At first, he
Yeah,
was against it, but then he decided to do it for the greed, and because he realized if
yeah,
he basically realized whatever way he's gonna go the way that's gonna benefit him.
right. So maybe we
So
don't
now
want to
he's gonna
stray too
use
far from that.
what we want him to do. We want the audience to see that Farazan is a flip flopper. He's gonna
Okay,
flop once he sees another opening for power, like to store for power,
okay,
and
yeah,
then
I can see
using
that.
this as like a ploy for power. Like he does not give a crap one way or another,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
okay, yeah, yeah, I like that.
So
So
they had like an
basically, have him
argument.
flip to blaming everything on the queen.
Yeah, blaming himself.
Okay,
And he can make like a public outcry, like I warned you against this. He never warned her against nothing. We like he didn't do any of this, but he's using this to like brainwash his supporters. Like eventually, once he gets that support
mm-hmm.
of the Kingsmen, they're gonna be blinded to whatever he says, regardless. Like he's going to vow and like just be very, I guess, rambunctious on the way he acts. He's
Mm,
gonna want his story to be the story that everyone knows, and he
okay,
won't let the queen have like much word or much impact.
okay, yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I think we should also then have a few scenes
mhm.
of them basically knowing the coronation is coming. So maybe instilling some of their own supporters or people to attend the coronation. That will lend
The
credence to,
coronation.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So like, no, that makes sense. Yeah, so we can get Farazan stacking the coronation with his men.
yeah. Because then he knows that if something were to happen, they would flip in his favor quickly.
Mm.
And I guess
I
this is
like that.
when Aaron, the
Oh
daughter
yeah, the
of
daughter.
Elendil, she can tell him about the Palantir and all that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe we can have more scenes with Belzegar, so we can have Belzegar
Yes.
being the town crier. Like he's like, me and my friend Lord Farazan has been talking, and we want to secure the longevity and the freedom of the Numenorians. And he was against Mariel's warmongering, whatever. Like we can have
Do we
him be the
want it
town
to be so
crier.
brazen though? Because
Well, we
again,
want to.
I
We
want
want.
these people to be more sly, basically stating all these grievances and then just saying, we hope that under this new leadership of the Queen, she'll she'll
Because the reason
listen
why I
more
want to
to
be.
the people
I
of
want.
Numenor instead of the elves.
Well, I don't want Farazan to be that brazen, but I wouldn't mind Belzegar or like the underlings be a little more brazen because they
Okay.
want Farazan to know that they're 100% behind him.
Okay. Yeah.
like a loyalty type thing. And then
Yeah.
like Farazan, like whenever he talks to the queen, he's like, "Oh, I didn't know they were doing this. They're just my friends, and they're just being, like." Or maybe say like, "I'll put a stop to this. I'll talk to them," like basically inciting it while he's gaining the support from the small people,
Yeah.
right?
I can definitely see that.
Because otherwise, like, you really can't say that he stacked the coronation room with his people. But like, they're gonna hear like, how are they gonna know where Farazan's stances are unless they hear it from somebody else, and maybe they heard it from Belzegar, who spoke in front of the town one day, and then we can see like that word of mouth spread throughout the town. We could follow somebody at the bar who's like, "Yeah, but did you know Farazan apparently spoke to the queen and told them not to go to war?" And we can show that this message is slowly
So it's
spreading
like
like a
a play on misinformation and disinformation, basically.
exactly, yeah, because
Okay.
this is medieval time, and
Mm-hmm.
this is how things would spread in medieval time is we have a town crier who spreads the word of whatever messenger, and then that word goes to the bar, and that word goes to the to the armory, and that goes to the
Yeah.
smithy, and that goes to the household.
And
And
that would also help with building out Numenor instead of just the
as
courtroom.
a yeah,
So
because right now
yeah,
Numenor is just a yes man. Like they
yeah,
immediately whenever someone talks, they just like yeah,
yeah.
no, and I'm like,
They flip
we
flop so
can
quick.
yeah, like build out these flesh out some of the characters. I think that's the one thing House of the Dragon did perfectly is when they were doing all
They
the
did do
dragon
that better.
seeds,
Yeah,
we did spend a lot of time with the small folks, and we understood why they hated both. Like, oh, Queen Rhaenyra at least is trying to give us food. Like that's why we should support her. Meanwhile, Queen Alicent has closed off the shipping lanes and all that.
yeah. No, that's true. It would flush out the entire town of Numenor better.
And I feel like all of these wouldn't be long scenes. 5 minute scene of news traveling. You could do like a montage style. Like some things work as montages, and this would work perfectly as like a good like 3 minute montage with like a 5 minute overlay
Hmm.
of like Farazan looking evilly at Belzegar while Belzegar is spreading shit. Like just forcing the implementation that Farazan is using Belzegar and is ultimately going to strive for power when that coronation happens.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And then I guess just keeping all of it the same, right? For Numenor, Farazan taking ownership, the Eagles
Yeah,
coming, the misrepresentation of what they think the Eagles mean. Yeah, I
yeah.
think all of that makes sense.
You have any
What
plans
else do we
for?
have
Because what
on?
else we have the Anatar and Kel thing. I think you and I were talking off camera here. We were kind of in agreement that the Celebrimbor and Anatar storylines was nearly as good as it could be.
Yeah,
Like
for
we
sure.
think most of the scenes were pretty damn good. So
Yeah, yeah,
we want to keep
100%.
that nearly the same, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't really want to touch on Celebrimbor and Anator. Like, that was really well done.
Yeah, agreed. I know you want to also touch upon the cause of Doom on episode 3. I know you said you want to add stuff with the brother. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I guess just since this is a family drama at the core of it, right? So we
Hmm.
need to see the dwarves' decision making, and we need to also start seeing with the dad, like how he's trying to side with people, why he's siding with them. And I think this will help with that. So we just need more scenes.
Yeah, because right now he doesn't have the ring, but they're trying to decide how to bring light back into Cause of
Hmm.
Doom, right? Yeah,
Yeah, and he's already tried the things that he's known, like the singing and all of that,
bring
and none of that
in
has
Nisa
worked.
and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so maybe we can have like the brother be on team. Let's go ask the elves for help, and we can have Doran for it to be like, we don't want to bring outside. We don't want outsiders to know that Cause of Doom is on a potential downfall. We want to keep this internal, and that way we can continue that building the divide between the brothers and the king, right?
Or we could just flip it, right? And have Cal and Anatar come there.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
we could spend um, Celebrimbor and Anatar discussing the seven rings that they want to build for the dwarves.
Hmm.
And they're traveling because then we can kind of see some scale. And we could have a narrate, like them talking about it and them also traveling at the same time. So it kind of saves a bit of
Oh yeah,
time.
because they do need the mithrils, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So when they arrive there, then they're like, "We can help you. We would need your mithril, basically." And
Okay,
that's when
so
we could have that the drama, the back and forth.
okay, that makes sense. So yes, we can
Yeah.
have like Anatar say like, "I'm the Lord of Gifts. I'm coming here from the Valar. I know the dwarves need help, so we must go to Cause of Doom to save them." Which sparks the whole we need Mithril to create rings for the seven. That'd be kind of cool because that would actually give more implication on why Celebrimbor is so broken down by the end of the season. Like he literally traveled and he literally put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into building these rings, only for it to ultimately backstab all the dwarves. Like it would be more heavy of a rate, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. Anything else you want to change in episode 3, or you want to move on to episode 4?
Episode 4. Yeah,
Oh wait,
that's
well,
when.
episode 3 though we do have Isildur still, right? Isildur and Estrid, and then because we start off with the barracks scenes, so we
Oh
should,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd keep the
yeah,
same.
keep all the same.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, there was not much that happened, so yeah, I guess keep all the same, and then same with
I
Muriel
think
crowning.
Barrett gets
Keep all,
captured, right? Is that the episode? Barrett gets captured by the.
yeah, Beric gets captured.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So instead of more random people, maybe we could just say that the orcs captured him or something. They're trying to build an army.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we can have that works. Yeah, we can maybe have like a mention that they're
because I don't want to bring Astrid's fiance or whatever. Like
yeah, I
I
don't
want
want
to
him as a
just
character.
yeah,
There's no need
I
because
just
we
deviate
know
that.
ultimately his character arc is going to be he's going to die or he's going to leave, and Astrid is going to end up with Isildur. We know that's where it's going, so we can write him out early because we have an idea where that character's going, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It also
and
protects
maybe
Isildur's character a little bit later on.
yeah, hundred
Yeah.
percent, yeah. You're talking about the orcs. Maybe we're gonna have like a line that Arendi overhears what the orcs are talking when he's trying to rescue Beric. We're gonna have it where he's like, and this would be episode 4, right? Yeah, we
Hmm.
can basically have him say, the orcs say, we need all the resources possible for us to storm Eregion. That way we know where each orcs are right now, like they're slowly moving to Eregion.
Yeah.
I think we need to build up this movement instead of them just magically appearing in Eregion like we see in this show.
The
Show them
ninjas.
traveling. Yeah, I'm like, how did they get there so fast?
Yeah. And this then would allow us to just get Arendir, Theo, and Isildur just going and killing these orcs and saving Beric.
Yeah,
So
maybe that way they can oversee the ants and Arendir promises the ants like we will protect your land
yeah,
and
yeah,
we
the
will
Ents
watch
could
and
pitch up there as well. Yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense.
and he'll say I'll make sure the land grows and they can and we can just have the ants mention that there's a legion of orcs 15 clicks that way and that way we can push Arendir onto his journey to Region.
Yeah, yeah, and then Isil
Yeah,
and them will go their own way.
exactly, that's fine. So just a
Okay.
slight variation, slight change. We can get rid of that
Yeah,
sea monster and all that stuff. Slug monster.
slug monster.
Yeah. And then episode 4, we also get the stranger and Tom meeting, right?
Hmm.
Tom Bombadil.
Yeah,
Keep that the same.
yeah, keep that the same. Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
change too much on that.
Maybe we can
We
add a
get
little bit of Tom and the Dark Wizard. Maybe just say like we
yeah,
were once
yeah.
friends. I mentored him, and some corrupting power or force deviated from his path. Maybe we can like imply that the Dark Wizard turned because of Morgoth or something.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah,
It's more character development than he's gotten.
exactly. I don't know where they're going with this character, so at least give him some kind of reasoning why he is the Dark Wizard, right?
Yeah. We got Elrond and Galadriel, right?
Yes,
Setting
yes.
up for Eregion. Yeah, keep that the same.
Oh yeah,
And
because
then,
isn't this where they travel to the bridge?
yeah, yeah. And we could kind of highlight that. That's the bridge that they had crossed earlier in the season.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, from the season premiere when we see them traveling throughout the bridge and all that, we can imply where that bridge is at. Like we know they're halfway to Region because we saw that beginning in episode 1.
yeah,
Yeah. So then they go to the forest. We can keep this map between Elrond and Galadriel about
yeah,
the
that's fine.
rings. Keep all that the same.
Yeah, and just how it plays out. Honestly, they fight
Yeah,
the
the bear rights.
yeah, they're Barraites.
Okay, keep all the same. And I think one change will probably be the ending of episode 4 with Eldron and Galadriel, Galadriel basically sacrificing her life to save the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they decide to split three ways. When they see the Orcs' army, maybe we can see them like cutting trees down. And they realize that they're in front of a region, so like something about to happen. They decide to split their forces. There's like what 6 or 7 elves with them. Maybe they do
Mm-hmm.
3 with Galadriel, 3 with Eldaron, and they separate Eldaron and the elves. They are planned to go to the High King to raise an army, and then the 3 elves, Galadriel and all them, plan is to sneak into a region to warn the elves of the upcoming danger, so they can create like a plan of attack, and maybe that way we can
Would
see the elves get like kidnapped, or maybe we can see the elves die one by one with Gladriel, and Gladriel gets captured. That way we can show the actual impact.
okay, yeah. And then there was actually one more scene I wanted to add on this
Oh,
one,
okay.
and that would be another scene in Númenor, and that's basically after Farazan has taken to be king. He then goes to Elendil to try and win him over. Because I still want us to develop more on Farazan.
Yes, that will build up with that Belzegar scene we had earlier on this season.
Yes. Yeah, basically he's trying to go and convince Elendil to join his cause. Because if he gets Elendil, a lot of the other people will just fall in line.
The Faithfuls, yeah.
Yes. So he's the first domino that needs to go.
And I
And
guess you can also use the
that's,
ploy like, hey, Isildur died in the battle that was caused by the elves. Like,
yeah,
why would you still side with Muriel? Like, and that might like strict like that might be the turning factor on why Elendil does not work with Farazan.
maybe. Or Farazan, sorry, Elendil just being the dude he is, like, nah. Just,
Yeah, being
yeah.
Mr. Loyal. Okay, and that's how episode 4 would end. Maybe.
Yeah. Or maybe
Yeah.
we just leave it as him thinking. And then it's like, ooh, what is he gonna do? And he's like, nah.
Yeah, just leave it like
Yeah.
without any response, and then we
Yeah.
see in episode 5 that he's with Muriel.
Yeah.
Okay. And then episode 5, that's a big Numenorian episode as well, right?
Yeah. And I think that's why
Mhm.
ending it with that Numenor scene prior would just flow a lot better into the
T
episode
into what we're
five.
going to do in
Yeah.
episode 5. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
what would you do in episode 5?
Okay, so episode five, I think both of us we didn't like the way Valendil died, right? The friend of Isildur.
Yeah, I felt like his death could have been more impactful. I liked the character, I liked the sentiment. I just feel like he could have been a bigger, impactful character.
Yeah, exactly. So that episode, pretty much everything keep the same. Like they'll all be at that funeral to pray for
The
the people
temple,
that
yeah.
died, and we can still have Keeman come, and they do get into sort of a fight, Valendil and him, but in this case, I would have Elendil separating them, so they both go in different directions, and that's when Keeman picks up a sword trying to kill Elendil because he's like, if I kill him, then a lot of these people will disperse in a
Mm.
sense.
So
And
maybe just
that's
like the
when,
revenge, yeah, on
yes.
not siding with them.
And then this is where Valendil steps in and takes the sword. This scares the shit out of Keeman because I don't think he actually intended on killing.
Just
But
scaring.
yeah,
Yeah.
this then makes him run away, and then they pin everything on Elendil.
And maybe because another issue I had with the episode 8, we saw with Keeman, he randomly appeared back on Middle Earth and the settlement that they created for the Southlands.
Hmm.
Maybe we can have like a scene in episode 5 after this thing happens where Farazan is angry and saying we were working with Elendil, we were speaking with him and we were convincing him, and you just turned the favors against us. Like, I'm gonna send you to Middle Earth and you can deal with the outpost there, like sending him away.
Okay,
Because
yeah,
it just didn't make sense. Like, we saw him in episode 5 and we didn't see him episode 6, 7, and then he randomly appears in episode 8 in Middle Earth. I'm like, what happened? When were you sent? Just have a quick scene with his dad being angry, like, you messed up all the planning that me and Belzegar has been doing for months.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the
Yeah.
thing we've been
I'm
talking
good with
about is
that.
scale and consequence. There's not much scale and there's not much consequence in the show. Create that drama, right?
Yeah.
And then episode 5, we still want to. I still want to like change up the Dwarf storyline a little bit. I like everything we've gotten on them, but one thing you brought up last episode we did on Rings of Power, you did say that King Durin being immediately brainwashed by the rings was a little too quick, a little too fast, where it didn't make sense for Durin to pass those rings down for generations. Maybe we can have it where it just highlights like your biggest flaw. It doesn't like immediately control your actions. He can still see sense. He can still communicate and have a discussion, but his biggest flaw might be his greed, something that he's kept under control up until the ring took control of his
Hmm.
actions.
Yeah. I
So
mean, the
he
dwarves aren't known for that greed, so that makes sense.
exactly. So we can see that he's willing to sell the other six rings for a price. He and Durin the Fourth have an argument where Durin the Fourth's like, it's getting to your head. Like it's not about the money. We need to help the other kingdoms prosper, and we shouldn't be stealing or taking from them. And we can have the brother, the fifth we call them, be against that, say, no, 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 let's sell it. Like make some money. We could be the kings of dwarves. Like implying
Hmm.
that he has greater vision for Casa Doom because we want to build up again who the brother is, right?
Cool. So yeah, Durin and his brother Durin the Fifth, they could just keep spatching with each other, just like family feud basically. And this is where King Durin just gets fed up with this whole bickering, and he sends his youngest to go talk to the other kings to see if they can trade the ring for resources, basically. And the way he could play it off is to Prince Durin. He can be like, "Well, you're next in line to be king, so it's better you stay here." And to his younger son, be like, "Oh, I trust you the most, so it's important you go deal with this." So he plays both sons, basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I like that because it kind of gives the fifth. He's still siding with the fifth. Like, let's go sell the rings for gold.
yeah,
So he's still siding with the fifth, but he's still playing along the pride of the fourth. Which I'm with you. I feel like that would add so much. And we've only had the brother for like 2 episodes. Those 2 episodes alone would make season 3 more impactful once they actually have that internal
yeah,
political falling out.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, maybe we could just have a scene where the king tells his son, like, sell the six rings to each mountain and have them come back to Cause of Doom
Within
once
a
you sell them
certain,
all.
yeah,
Yeah, send all the kings to Cause of Doom to bow fealty or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
kiss the ring.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Okay, so I think that could be all episode 5. Like, everything else will stay the same. Everything else that we
Yeah.
didn't touch for episode 5. But then let's go ahead and move into episode 6. Now we're getting to more of the battle now beginning, right? I definitely want the biggest thing this season failed at doing. We mentioned time after time is scale. So I want episode 6 to have a scale of how big a region is and how far the orcs are. So I want to
Yeah.
have that lineup shot with the orcs on the tree line. Obviously, they don't want out because of the sun, and they're waiting for Adol's command. And we see it zoomed out as we travel across the river towards the walls of Eregion,
Hmm.
and we can see how far the distance really is. So we get that impact in episode 7, and then we can cut to Adar and Galadriel having a discussion.
Yeah. So yeah, let's have Galadriel start playing more of an intelligent character where she
Yeah.
might not reveal all the truth or she might fib on a few things. So let's have her actually state that the entire Linden Legion is like right behind them, basically scaring them into potentially retreating or something like that.
Yeah, and maybe that could play into building up the Glug as a character because we don't know much about Glug, but I feel like
Mm,
if we get to break down his character slightly more, it can be more impactful when he betrays Adar in
Adar.
episode 8. So maybe we can have this
Yeah.
scaring Glug, and Glug telling Adar, like, hey, I've done everything you've asked. You're my father, but I'm afraid that we're going to lose more orcs if we push
Yeah.
this fight. because we're going to collapse somebody else, and we can have Adar explaining this is for your this is for your betterment, like this is for your future, and having Glug be more terrified of facing this fight.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, having more of a rift between hopefully two characters that we are trying to position as people that trust each other and are working together.
Yeah, because I don't want Adar to be like instantly no, but I want Adar to like I understand why you're scared, and I'm doing this for you. The only
Hmm.
way I can get you guys into living freely is by destroying Sauron once and for all, and
Hmm.
make it as a plea. Like I'm doing this for you. Like I'm sending you guys out there. I don't want y'all to die, but we have to do what we have to do, type thing. Because I want it to be more like I want Adar to be more of a sympathetic villain.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. And then moving on to the stranger and Gandalf, sorry, Gandalf and Tom. Um, Pretty much keep everything the same, but maybe have Tom aid Gandalf and his powers a little bit more. I'm kind of thinking of Empire Strikes Back with Yoda.
Yeah,
Like, I kind of want that sort of thing where he is trying to mentor him, but what I want in this is for Tom to keep reminiscing on his moments with the Dark Wizard. And the reason I kind of want to draw those parallels is when he gives him that ultimatum at the end, either go fulfill your destiny and get the power that you need, or go save your friend. That makes more of an impact than how it was portrayed in that episode.
yeah, because yeah, Empire Strikes Back. I know I mentioned that as well previous
Hmm.
episodes. You're 100% correct. Like having that push and pull, but like flipping it on its head. Because in Empire, it was you should train for your prophecy, train for your destiny. Well, and this is Tom wanted him to rescue his friends, to choose
Yeah.
friend over power.
Yes,
So you can
exactly.
flip it over its head, but make it just as impactful.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that a lot. No, 100%. So we can keep that. I like that. Maybe we can get Theo and Isildur being more looked up as leaders in the town.
Yeah.
Because I want to build up their friendship. Because I mentioned last this episode, the season finale episode, I mentioned how I do believe Theo is going to be the leader of Rohan,
Hmm.
or a potential leader of like a clan that developed Rohan. And we're gonna see in the great battle, he turns his back on uh Isildur not wanting to fight anymore, and that he's gonna become one of the rates that we see in Return of the King, the ones who
Yeah.
betrayed Gondor and was sworn into ghost-like creatures for eternity. 'Cause I want that friendship to have a more like once it collapses, I want that to be impactful.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense.
Maybe they're like so they're like the leaders, and we can see them working together to build that town
It's
up.
really important we get more from Isildur. So
Yeah,
I
because
definitely am for that.
like you mentioned, Isildur is being portrayed as an asshole right now.
Yeah, yes.
And I think if we had written out that boyfriend character of Estrid, we
Yeah, it
can
automatically
continue
helps him.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it immediately makes him look better. Like he and this girl do have a thing together, but ultimately he chooses his family versus his love, and we can
Hmm.
make that like a more emotional pull as well. Like he could have chose staying back with Theo and Estrid, but he chose going back to Númenor to help his dad out. Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And he has a lot of growth that he needs to do quickly because the
yeah,
whole Númenor storyline is very important for him. So,
hmm,
yeah. Other than that, I think we would keep the episode the same, right? Yeah, pretty
yeah,
much. Episode 7. This was a fun one. This is the
yeah.
battle, right?
Yes, this is the battle for Region. I think a lot of people would say it's one of the highlight episodes of the season. I know you and I did have some hot takes though about some of the establishing shots and some of the scale, something
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
mentioned all season
exactly.
long. But what would you change, if anything?
There were a lot of cool scenes, like when they shoot the mountain down. I thought that was a really
Yeah,
cool scene. So definitely keep that. It's mainly the scale. They need to have more cinematic views, like more outside views, bird eye views, like just different than what we got. because I did not know how big Eregion is. I did not know how many people were in Eregion. I did not know
Yeah.
how many orcs they are. Like nothing.
And I think maybe this is one place where I will change the Celebrimbor and add our storyline is with Merendir. I kind of want Adar to be brainwashing Celebrimbor this whole time, like we'd had in this episode 7. And I want him to rally Merendir and all the other elves to be forced to fight. Basically saying like, I'm the messenger for Celebrimbor, and Celebrimbor demands every able body to defend a region,
Yeah.
regardless of how many lives it takes, like versus fleeing or retreating or anything.
Yes.
That way we can make more sense on why Merendir is on the front lines, on the battlement, and why, and we can get a scale of how many people are like actually in a region suffering.
Yeah. Exactly. And we also want all the people like Mirandia or whatever her name is,
Yeah,
Mirdania. Sorry, Mirdania.
Modani. Yes, sorry.
The reason she was on the top of the wall is totally lost to me. She was just pointing out, "Oh, there's a catapult. Oh, there's an archer." It's like, what's your point here, my guy? Fight or do just get out of here.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
backseat warrior.
Maybe we can see that she's the call out, like not the commander, but maybe like the
Just give
tracker.
her the archery job. Just anything.
Yeah, like give her the
Or she's like
nuke, shoot, and all that. The
or
commander,
she's like
whatever.
refilling
The
the arrows
the
because she's
arrows
a
or
very
something.
good
Yeah,
smith's woman, whatever, like something,
yeah. Maybe
anything.
she's handing out weaponry or something. I
Yeah,
give her a reasoning to be there, so when she does fall off the balcony, because I like that scene. It shows how
yeah,
cruel
keep that. That's
Sauron
fine.
is, but it makes it more reasonable for her to be there.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I guess we don't want to keep that whole Adar versus who's it? Arendir, yes, Arendir and Adar, like
yeah.
because
Take all that
Arendir being
out.
stabbed meant nothing. They forgot
Yeah.
about it the next episode.
What I really think we need to have, because it didn't make sense when we go into episode 8. We see Adar in episode 7 ending on the main battlefield in front of the gates, fighting the three king Eldaron and Arendir. And then we open episode 8 and he's on top of the mountainside overlooking the battle.
Hmm.
Maybe have this where he's at this whole time. He's on the mountainside, and we can have Arendir, the king, and Eldaron point him out and say, "That's where he's staying. We must take
Let's go
him
take him
out
out,
now."
basically. Yeah,
So we can see them like climbing the mountain, and we can see the camaraderie a little bit build up. We can get all three of them bonding while they're climbing the mountain,
yeah,
and then they
and it
go
was
and
just a
take,
trap. Yeah.
yeah, they try to fight Adar, but Adar traps them. He takes Eldron's ring, Gladriel's ring, but he does not know the High King has one because he's hiding it. That way, the High King will have his ring,
Yeah.
and he sends he tells his orcs guards to send him down to the castle to be executed in the main halls. So that way, when they're sending them down, we can get them breaking out later on episode 8. But at least this way, episode 8 opens up. He's already on the mountain. Because it just doesn't
Exactly.
make
And
sense
it makes
otherwise.
more sense because when I was watching the end of the season 8, so episode 8, I didn't know how did these three survive because it felt at times they were just like two elves
Yeah,
versus 100 orcs. I'm like, what is
yeah.
happening here?
So I think that works out perfectly, and we can
Yeah.
keep all that fun stuff, and we can maybe end the episode with the three of them going down to like the base, like to the I guess the main halls of Region. At this point, they're nearly taking it over. They're storming the
Hmm.
interiors, and they're gonna decapitate them in front of the elves, like to force them to submission.
Yeah.
And then the episode can end to black from there. And then we open
Yeah.
episode 8 with we keep the whole beginning with like Durin and the Balrog, right?
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
Don't
And
change a
then
thing.
no. And then cause I want us to hold on to the moment we got for episode 7 with the three about to be decapitated or like killed in the mid hall. So I don't want us to go to Aregion until later into the episode. So I want the
Hmm.
episode to like be tying up all the other loose ends.
Yeah.
So we have the Durin loose end tied up. We can get the Stranger and Dark Wizard dueling to save the stores, and
Hmm.
the stores call him Grand Elf, and just fuck it, he can get the name Gandalf. at this point, I don't care. It's
Yeah,
stupid,
that
but
story was so bad. There's nothing we can do to improve it.
yeah, I'm not even gonna try dissecting and fixing that storyline. So he gets the name Dark Gandalf, and we can have Nori tell the rest of the stories like, I know your home is destroyed, but we can meet up with my tribe and we can reunite once and for all, and
Yeah,
we can write
they'll
her
go
out of
their
season
merry
three.
way.
We
Yeah,
don't need to see
exactly.
her to like we can show her back in season four, like say,
Five.
no, we found the show. Okay, cool. Kind of like what they did for Bran in season five of Game of Thrones, where he was just
Yeah.
out of the whole season. Like, just do that with these guys.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And
I
then
guess we
all
can
that
also
would be
see Farazan looking at the Palantir, seeing Sauron.
yeah, we can have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, in episode seven. I forgot about that. Yes, yes.
Eight, right?
No,
That's
that'll be
when
episode
he.
seven. We want to have episode seven is when Farazan is converting the
Oh, okay.
faithfuls, and but yeah, you're right. Episode eight is when he's going to look into Palantir. Yeah,
Yes.
you're right. You're right. Yeah. So episode eight. Yeah. So he's going to use the Palantir. He's going to put two and two together. That Halbrand is Sauron.
Yeah.
And he's going to use this, I guess, to push the turn on the faithfuls, right? To arrest them
Yeah.
all.
Basically, join me so we can rid the Middle Earth of evil, or
We'll
support
imprison
Muriel
you.
in turn Sauron.
Yeah, I like that. Put Muriel and Sauron turn to like VV. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Grouping together. And maybe we can use this to arrest all of them. Elendil and Muriel say their goodbyes. All that would be the
hmm
same. We can get Narzel the sword. All that fun
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then what I think we should do with the battle, the fight. Now we go back to Region. I think now we should end the episode with a Region. So the last half of the episode would be all Region stuff. We
hmm
can have Gladriel fighting Ador, not fighting Ador, but like being surrounded by Ador, and then they working together. And he's like, "Well, I captured your friend Eldron, and I took your ring, and I understand the bigger picture now. We can have all that because I like that. That was great character development for Ador. But would you change anything leading up to his death?
Yeah, so the only thing I would change is Glug and the other orcs bring Sauron to Adar, and Adar is going walking with a sword, seeming like he's going to kill Sauron. That's when Glug and them turn their back and stab Adar. Just, I think that would work just a little bit better instead
Okay.
of whatever we got.
Yeah, maybe we can get like a scene of where Sauron has like a quick smile, and we can see his fingers do like a twitch, whatever, showing that he's controlling these orcs through malice or
Yeah,
something.
or
'Cause I
maybe
want that.
just convincing them that
Okay,
there's a path to peace
but I
with
think that's the issue.
supporting
Is
him.
I don't want him to be trying to be diplomatic with the orcs because we saw him
Yeah,
try to
okay.
do that in the prologue of episode
Oh, that's
one,
true, actually.
and the
Yeah,
orcs
that was
turned
his
on him.
mistake.
So maybe now he's like, screw
By force.
being diplomatic. I'm gonna use force. I'm gonna use malice to
Yeah.
control you guys. So maybe we could see him like twitch his hands during that Glug and the other orcs under his control.
hmm
And that way, when Gladriel sees that happening, she's in more shock, where she just reacts. Because this in episode eight, when we got the turn on Adar, Gladriel just stood there, just standing there watching in horror. I'm like, you're not gonna help him out, like you guys just talked about peace, and you're just gonna stand there.
Oh,
So
buddy.
now we can get her to be like, oh
You need
shit,
those
like.
guts in you, not outside of you.
So now we can have her be like looking at Sauron, realizing that he's doing this in horror, and realizing that like
hmm
she can't win.
Yeah. And then, yeah, we can keep the whole fight scene with her and Sauron the same. We don't need to change
Yeah,
anything.
and then we can have the
Um,
three, the king, Elrond, and Arendir when they're in the courtyard about to get executed. We can have them break out the same way, and then have everything. I guess everything else would just be the same. Everything we can
yeah.
end the storyline with Eregion the same, right? I like
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
the season ended, right? Overall,
Yeah. With the
yeah, I
potential of
think
Rivendell.
yeah. And I think overall, like the way our, I guess, we're not doing much, but adding a couple of episodes, like a couple scenes in each episode. I think max we're adding about 3 to 4 episode scenes, and I think adding these 3 to 4 not episode scenes. I apologize. 3 to 4 scenes might increase the time by 10 minutes. These episodes are already
Probably even
long,
more. I think maybe
maybe
more.
10 to 15 minutes, give or take. But these
Yeah.
episodes are already long, and we talked about how a lot of episodes I feel like go nowhere,
Yeah.
and at least this way
Filler.
Yeah, and I feel like this way we can actually develop characters versus just having people talk and nothing happening.
Yeah.
Because I
You
feel
call
like
me
if you,
nobody. It's God damn it.
yeah,
Fuck off, man.
because I feel like if you want to do a discussion based show, which like Game of Thrones was, this show seemingly wants to be a discussion based show.
Mm-hmm.
You want the discussion to lead somewhere. You want the discussion
Right.
to build a greater narrative and not them talking for the sake of talking.
Character progression. That was missing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you have any last thoughts?
No, that's it for me.
Yeah, I think overall we, for the most part, fleshed out a lot of the characters. But
Yeah.
let us know down below. Is there anything you disagree with? Would you flesh out a certain character more so? What did you think our story versus the one Amazon Prime released? What did you think? Let us know down below. But this has been the Popcorn Perspective signing off.
All right.